Well, let's get reaction now. And for that, we are joined by Cosatu Western Cape's Secretary, Mr. Malvern De Bruyn, who, of course, will give us their perspective on that route closure. 10 routes that have been shut in Cape Town. And that is, of course, as, tensions continue to boil between taxi associations, Cata and Codeta. Malvern joins us now. Malvern, a good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, just off the bat, Cosatu Western Cape, you hear about this, the decision of the Western Cape to close these routes. First thoughts from Cosatu.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. As Cosatu, we were shocked and basically disappointed when we heard the news that certain taxi routes will be closed for a 30-day period. And as Cosatu, we are saying that, did the authorities consider the thousands of workers that will make use, that are currently making use of those routes? Because we are having workers that must go to work, you are having people that must go to school kids that must go to work, we are having people that must go to clinics, to hospitals, or to any other issue that you must deal with on a daily basis. And that decision is not talking to the issue of the working class. I know they will tell us that they have alternative plans, but we found it strange that those alternative plans are not really assessing the issue.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem, though, is just how it's going to impact the commuters. I mean, 30 days is a long time. We did see that buses were out on the roads in Cape Town, but is that going to be sufficient? Even in that report, you hear Nasipi Same speaking of, well, there are those that fall between the cracks, some, stuck at a taxi rank in Somerset West, for instance. Just your understanding of the impact this is going to have on commuters, workers especially.
We received 3 reports even this afternoon of workers that were stuck at taxi ranks, at bus depots to get to work. So there's a major impact on the working class. There's a major assault on the working class, to put it that way, because currently when you have employers don't want to hear about excuses. They want production. And most of the workers will be affected by either loss of income and be subjected to disciplinary inquiries. And those are the issues that the MEC or the West Cape Department didn't consider or look into. Because Cosatu, we were said from the beginning, when workers are directly impacted in any decision, please talk to us so that we can find meaningful ways to resolve this kind of impasses.
At the end of the day, though, and this is the argument that is made by the Western Cape government, is they also have a role to play in dealing with the situation when there is violence and instability in the public transport sector. In fact, they, invoke Section 91 of the National Land Transport Act. So there is that competency of needing to keep commuters safe, right? So who, in fact, is falling behind on what they need to be doing then to deal with the tensions between Cata and Codeta that, mind you, have been there for years? Now,
if one looks at the history between Cosatu, civil society, when it comes to the taxi violence, we were the ones that were in the forefront to find a solution. But you're sitting with the MEC, you're sitting with the Department of Mobility that are not even serious about the particular matter. We've tried to call these parties to the table to say, let's talk, let's find meaningful grounds to engage on this particular issue. Because number one, we fully understand that there is a crisis. We understand that violence is in our province. But secondly, then, when you want to implement any particular action, then make sure that you look after the interests of the working class and the poorest of the poor and anyone else that is making use of public transport. That was not considered. Now, the MEC knew that there was a challenge. Not once did you call Cosatu, any other labor union that are directly linked to this industry, civil society, taxi associations, and to say, let's talk, let's find answers on the challenge that we're confronted with. But what's going to happen now? After 30 days, we will give a report to say how many people lost their jobs, the amount of loss of income, the challenges on teachers and learners that couldn't make it to school on time or not even come to school. So what they have currently, they're saying to us, no, there's buses, there's metro rail. And I don't think they are honest when it comes to that. They got limited resources for the thousands of workers that are directly affected.
Now, I've seen images, of course, in the Western Cape, and perhaps you remember some of these as well. And if you can, maybe take us back to one of those examples where we've got, you know, the war between Cata and Codeta. Again, I'm, you know, using a big word there, but nonetheless, the tension's continuing. And then as a result, taxis don't operate. People then need to rely on the bus system. And if you remember quite well, there have been incidents where we've seen buses then torched, commuters needing to climb out of bus windows so that they don't, they're not harmed. I mean, that being surely a concern that is top of mind for you.
Yeah, now I've seen what happened in the past, but at this current conjuncture, we are saying there's a challenge, there's a crisis, let's talk. And that's not happening. And I think that's the sad reality when you deal with a party, with a department that don't care about these people. For them, it's just take the first route and is to close particular ranks, not worrying about how these people will survive at the end of the day. We are saying that we, even as Cosatu, who engage in the transport task team, there's engagement with Codeta and Cata to find a solution to the problem in this province. But I think the MEC should put away the ego, because ultimately, I think what they're trying to do in this crisis is to see what they can push the agenda for devolution of powers. That's what they want. So if they can have instability, they can then push for devolution of powers. They don't really care about the working class. They don't care about the poorest of the poor, and they don't care about the people of this particular Western Cape. For them, it's just about getting more powers to control this province.
Malvern, what steps, if at all, has Cosatu taken to speak to Cata and Codeta? And if you have, maybe you can take me into the temperature of those discussions with these two associations. What do they sound like when Cosatu says, well, let's sit down with each association or bring them together? You know, is there a sense that there can be a middle that's found?
I can even say with confidence that Cata and Codeta is willing to talk, willing to engage. Even the previous, if one goes back a year ago, there was a challenge in the industry. And Cata and Codeta was willing to talk to us as Cosatu and the South African Communist Party and the African National Congress to find a common ground. Even the National Minister flown down from Joburg to form part of those discussions. We didn't see the provincial MEC in those meetings, because for them it's not a priority. Last night we had a meeting as a task team, the transport task team. And today there was supposed to be a meeting with Cata and tomorrow another meeting with Codeta. But I was a party to those meetings, so I'm still waiting on a report because I'm currently stuck in meetings in Johannesburg and in the Cosatu Central Committee. So what I'm trying to say in short is that Cosatu, South African Communist Party and ANC is willing to find a solution. But if you deal with someone that have an ego, that don't care about our people, then you have a challenge. And I don't think they are really grasp the kind of economic sabotage that they are creating in our province.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult 30 days for commuters in Cape Town that, of course, use those 10 routes that have been shut by Western Cape government. But thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it. Cosatu Western Cape Secretary there, Mr. Malvern De Bruyn.